It is an undeniable fact that there is more opportunity in e-commerce than ever before in history. In fact, just this last Black Friday, people spent more than $9.12 billion. The U.S. Department of Commerce just released a report stating that U.S. e-commerce sales were over $750 billion. Now, the crazy part is that $750 billion only makes up about 15% of overall US retail sales. Well, the reason it matters is that this means that e-commerce is going to continue to grow and take up a larger and larger percentage of the overall retail sales, meaning that the opportunity to get into e-commerce and take out your own piece of the pie is only going to continue to grow over the next several decades. You certainly have not missed the boat, and anybody who says that dropshipping is dead or e-commerce is dead simply doesn't know what they're talking about. Because if you come in and can take even a 0.00001% of that overall e-commerce market, you have a multiple seven-figure business. But the problem is that there are so many BSers spreading misinformation out there, and it's just tough to know what steps you should follow, who's trustworthy and who's not. That's why in this video, I'm going to map out the exact steps I would take to start an e-commerce business in 2023. So that way you can hear right from the horse's mouth from somebody who's done it exactly what I would do if I had to start over from scratch and build a seven-figure e-commerce business in 2023. My name is Chris Ekman. If you don't know who I am, I've done over $25 million in e-commerce sales, and I'm making videos just like this one to share with people and give the resources that I wish I had back when I got started. Because I made a lot of mistakes along the way, and hopefully videos like this will help you avoid making some of them. And be sure to stick around to the very end of the video, because this is going to be the 10,000 foot view that is going to set your foundations. And then in the end, I'm going to point you to all the resources completely for free. There's no course to sell here that can help you get started and tell you exactly step by step, like what buttons to click in order to start your own business. So without further ado, let's jump in and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So here's how I would start a dropshipping e-commerce business in 2023. Now, step number one is laying your foundations. There's a couple of main things you're really going to need in order to get off the ground. The first thing you're going to need is a single member LLC. You can file for one of these using a site called InkFile. It's extremely easy, roughly $200 to $300 in total. And this is going to be a necessity to start accepting payments and keep your business organized from the get-go. The second thing you're going to need is a business bank account. Now, you can open this once you've created your LLC. You're going to need something that's called an EIN. PNC, Bank of America, TD, and Chase Bank has been my favorite, but do your own research and pick out which bank works best for you. Then the third thing you're going to need is a Shopify account. And you can get started with just their free plan. They have $1 a month plan and a free trial before that. But those are the three things you're going to need: an LLC, bank account, and your Shopify account. This is all you really need to lay the foundation for your business to scale in the future. Now, the second thing you're going to need is your product. The way that I think about products is with the following methods. There's dropshipping, which is the typical Alibaba, AliExpress, Overload. Somebody buys a product from your site. You then place an order with one of these third-party sellers that then ships it direct to your customer. You're completely out of the equation. The pros and cons to those is that it's cheaper, but it's normally pretty slow, and the product quality isn't always that great, but it can be. The second method is print on demand. And this is primarily apparel, but can be everything from home goods to mugs, hats, that kind of thing. And there's companies like Printify, Printful. You come up with the designs and then you put it on your products. And then as somebody buys the product from your site, Printify or Printful will then print the product and then ship it to your customer. You're not even involved, like you don't have to touch the product, you just design it. It's great because you don't need any inventory, but margins can be a little bit lower because it's more expensive to buy it one-off. Then the third option is inventory, and I recommend this one by far the least. Inventory is where you have a product idea or you see a product that's selling well, like on Amazon or Etsy, and then you just go to Alibaba or find a supplier and you just order a bunch of inventory. Now, this can be really problematic for a lot of reasons. Primarily, like you don't know if the product's actually going to sell that well. And then if it doesn't, you're stuck with a lot of inventory that you don't really know what to do with. So especially if you're getting started with very little money, I don't recommend this option, but it can be a great way to improve your margins later on down the road once you've proven that the product actually sells well. Now, the third thing that you're going to need after you've laid your foundations, you've chosen your products, is your marketing. How do you get people's eyeballs on your site? There's two different main methods you can use. There's paid marketing and organic marketing. There's pros and cons to each. Like anything in business, Facebook ads and TikTok ads are the two primary paid methods that I would recommend. And the pros of that are that you're able to scale up immediately. Like you can get traffic on your site like that, but it's also expensive, or it can be. And if you don't know what you're doing in the beginning, you can end up wasting a lot of money. But the good thing about it is that you can start off with a very small budget if you know what to look for. And in the beginning, your goal is to just get to the point where you're putting in $1, getting $2 out. So it's not like you're wasting hundreds or thousands of dollars. Like you're starting off with very little budgets. When you do it that way and you do it smart, you don't follow the guru saying you need to have like hundreds of thousands of dollars to like throw at ads and like testing budgets and like blow a lot of money. Like you don't need to do that. You just start off with a small budget, put in $1, get $2 out. After you spend $50, you look at the numbers and see, is there something here or should I move on to something else? Like, are customers even remotely interested in this, or am I just gonna waste my time? The second option, if you have like no money, this is the cheapest way to get started, is with organic marketing. And organic marketing is where you can like build organic followings. You can make an account on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, all these different platforms completely for free. And then you start posting engaging content that people find interesting, and then you direct them over to your e-commerce site. So like, for example, you can make a meme page about like funny cats or animals or whatever. After you build up a following, you say like, hey, if you like this kind of content, we're selling print-on-demand products for a similar niche, like over here. Like, here's our website, go check us out. Then you can put like thumbnails on all your videos that have like your URL in it. And then over time, again, it'll take a little while, like a couple of months at the very least, you'll start to get organic traffic over to your site. You'll start to get better and better at realizing what types of content people enjoy. You'll start to craft your brand following around that. You'll be getting sales completely for free. And again, your only costs are your Shopify subscription, cost of making content, which you can make a lot of it yourself, like on Canva. And then third is the cost to fulfill the product, which if you're doing drop shipping or print on demand, you only have that cost when somebody actually buys from you. It's a very cost-effective way to get started. And then the last step to scaling an e-commerce business or drop shipping business in 2023 is actually scaling it. Like, a lot of people throw around this buzz term of scaling, but it really just comes down to rinse and repeat. To put it as simply as possible, just analyzing what has worked and doing more of that, and then analyzing what hasn't worked and doing less of that. Which sounds like very redundant and simple, but all that you have to do is see, like, if you're running paid ads, what ads have done well, how can we make more like that, what products have done well, let's build out our product collection around that, and then see what hasn't done well and cut the fat. And then over time, you have your marketing budget is spending more and more into ads that are performing well, spending less into the ones that aren't. You're building out your catalog around products that people have shown that they actually like, and you're offering less of the poor sellers. Rinse and repeat, like trim the fat, do more of what's working. That's all there really is to it. Easier said than done sometimes, because there's a lot of like emotion in deciding what's done well and what hasn't. Realizing that even if you had an idea for a product and it didn't do well, like, you have to just let the numbers tell you the true story. And that's somewhere that a lot of people can get hung up. Try to be as objective as possible. Scaling, step number 4, will go 10 times better for you. And then the last thing that I'll say about all of this in building a dropshipping business in 2023 that's different than in years past is the way that you can really win is by prioritizing the customer's experience and trying to build a real brand. Now, this is important for a couple of reasons, but on the financial side, it's the way that you maximize your LTV and get people to come back and buy from you time and time again. Because as ad costs continue to rise, there's more and more competition. If you've built a brand that people really recognize and respect and have had a great experience with, they're gonna come back and buy from you, because your lifetime value, your audience, they love you and they love your brand, and they're gonna buy from you no matter what. I've run brands where we would spend $10 to acquire a customer, but they would only buy from us once. That's far less valuable than if I had a brand that I could spend $20, but they would buy from me 3, 4, 5 times. That second brand, even though the upfront cost on the ads was more expensive, it's far more valuable in the long term, because I'm getting 3, 4 times the revenue rather than just a one-time expense. The goal is not just the first sale. The way that you really win is by building a brand that people want to come back and buy from time and time again. Just in general, it's a more rewarding brand to work on. You don't want to be working on something that's just get a sale here and there, then people hate you because it was 6 weeks to never shipping time. You want to do something that people are going to enjoy, and that'll make it more fulfilling for you. And it's something fun to be able to tell your friends and family about, rather than, oh yeah, I'm drop shipping fidget spinners and it takes 8 weeks and people hate me. It's not fun, and it's a quick recipe for burning out. So like I said at the beginning of the video, this is intended to be the 10,000 foot view that lays your foundation, that gives you an idea of where you are in the journey. Maybe you have an LLC, maybe you've picked out a product, maybe you haven't. Hopefully this helps fill in some of the gaps of where you need more effort, and maybe some of the pieces you already figured out. Now, the next thing you can do, and there's no course to sell you, there's no nothing, but if you go over to my website, chrisheckman.org, watching on the YouTube channel, giving away all the information you could possibly need to go from 0 to a 7-figure e-commerce business. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out in the comments section or shoot me a DM or tweet at me. Anyway, if you like this kind of content, be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.